Hi, in a previous video we looked at how neurotransmitters diffuse across the synapse and trigger a nerve impulse. So this time we're going to look at how those neurotransmitters can have an impact on our mood and behaviour. One of the biggest drivers of behaviour in humans is when our reward pathway in the brain is activated. So, reward pathway will come in when we engage in behaviours that are beneficial and help us to survive. So, whenever we meet biological needs, such as having something to eat when we're hungry, reward pathway will be activated, induces feelings of pleasure and well-being, thus makes us seek out and repeat those behaviour patterns. The main neurotransmitter behind the activation of this reward pathway is dopamine. So, neurons that contain dopamine are involved in that reward pathway, so they secrete or respond to the dopamine neurotransmitter. And again, this is what induces those feelings of pleasure. This is what reinforces particular behaviours, that we get that sense of well-being, that sense of reward when activated. Another class of neurotransmitter that can have a big impact on our mood and our behaviours are the endorphins. And these are increased in production during things like suffering a severe injury, when you're doing prolonged and continuous exercise, when you're stressed, or even when you eat certain foods such as chocolate. So the primary purpose of endorphins is to stimulate the neurons that normally reduce the intensity of the pain. So, this would allow you to survive that severe injury if you still have to move and get yourself out of danger. It allows you to push through when you're doing these prolonged periods of exercise, helps you survive stressful situations because it reduces the pain, and again is linked to those feelings of pleasure that we feel sometimes during these types of activities. And we do also see increased levels of endorphins during activities such as eating, during sex, and during exercise. So let's try some of the past paper questions for neurotransmitter effects on mood and behaviour. So pause the video, have a go at these, and hit play when you're ready to reveal the correct answers. Question 1. You were asked to describe how dopamine reinforces smoking behaviour. So we looked at in terms of activating the reward pathway and reinforcing good behaviour, but we do know it's also associated with some of these behaviours that are not quite so beneficial for us. So, what to include here is dopamine induces feelings of pleasure, euphoria, makes you feel good, or that it stimulates or activates or triggers the reward pathway. So, even though intellectually we know that smoking is bad for us, we still feel good when we engage in that behaviour, and it gets reinforced through the activation of the reward pathway. So as long as the answer indicates that the reward pathway is activated and not it affects or links or reinforces just on its own, so it's the dopamine triggering or stimulating the pathway. Question 2. Endorphins and dopamine are neurotransmitters that affect mood and behaviour. So part 1, you have to state one activity that increases endorphin production. So the activities were the prolonged exercise, eating, sex. They've also included laughter here. Okay. So because it's asked for an action, that's why it wouldn't accept stress or injury, as these are not things you would hopefully be actively engaging in, these things that happen. So you're looking for things that you would choose to do that would release the endorphins. It would also accept any named sporting activity in place of exercise, any specific example of named food, and it will also take accepting recreational drugs or a named drug, which will be the subject of a later video. And part two, state one, function of endorphins. So, why are they released during these activities? Well, it's either to reduce the intensity of the pain or to induce the feelings of pleasure, happiness, etc. And we'd also take things such as natural painkillers or inhibiting those pain signals. So again, I hope this has given you a nice overview of the different types of neurotransmitters, how they can affect our mood and behaviour. But if you do have any questions, please let me know.